Good evening. This is the Harbor Shellfish Advisory Board, and today is February 3rd, 2026, 5:03 p.m. I'd like to call this meeting to order and begin with an approval of the agenda, please, if I can have a motion.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion's made by Mr. Anderson, seconded by Mr. Sherlin to approve tonight's agenda. All in favor, Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Mr. Sherlin?
Aye.
Ms. Mayo?
Aye.
Mr. Brace?
Aye.
Mr. Franzuto?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Draft minutes of January 20th. Has everybody had a chance to look at them? Any revisions to be suggested?
Have one minor revision under the section of safe transfer. Jim's name or title came in as MSS versus MR, so he's advanced. Last time it was only MS, now he's at MSS. Other than that, I'd make a motion to approve the minutes.
We have a second. And we have a second on the motion to approve the minutes of January 20th. Motion's made by Mr. Anderson, seconded by Mr. Brace to approve minutes of January 20th, 2026. All in favor, Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Mr. Sherlin?
Aye.
Ms. Mayo? Mr. Brace?
Aye.
Mr. Franzuto?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Under Chairman's report, I think it's appropriate that we recognize the lost crew of the fishing vessel Lily Jean out of Gloucester. Captain Gus Sanfilippo, Paul Beal Senior, Paul Beal Junior, John Paul Roshanidis, Sean Therian, Freeman Short, and the NOAA observer and aspiring marine biologist Jada Samet. Let's have a moment of silence for them. Thank you for that. Any notes or emails, Marine Department report?
She is not here.
Do we have anything from Tara, the Natural Resources?
She said she wasn't gonna be here because it was
Right.
her daughter's birthday party and she was gonna send a report, but I didn't get that.
Okay. And checked lately, but I don't know if I got anything.
All she said was she wanted us to wait. It was commenting on the egress management plan stuff.
Okay. Well, I guess we gotta wait 2 more weeks on weather station at that point.
That's what I would just ask if
Yeah.
Jim or John had been able to access that weather
You
station.
can access it. All right, it's at the door. You can share some link for it, actually.
Oh,
I can share it with everybody.
great. But,
It's not official.
it's not in use.
No, they had to do some. Calibrating on the thermometer, apparently is reading high. So, hope they can fix that, and then I think they were gonna add some bracing sheets. Cause it is out in the pretty tough weather spot.
Yeah. Okay. Old business. Kept a couple of things on here in case we have more discussion, and we'll keep them on here if we foresee any future discussion on the general chapter 91 licensing requirements, compliance and oversight. Separate from this, we'll talk about safe transfer of diesel fuel and volume. Anything new on chapter 91?
Mr. Chair.
Yes,
Just
Jim.
to share this with everybody. We were talked about the boat basin and the gate, the dock, as far as being under chapter 91, Dave, probably speak more to this. Anyway, I went down and looked at the sign the other day and it says, Commercial wharf, yachts and their guests only, per Mass DEP license number, da da da. Condition number one, public access beyond this gate is prohibited for reasons of public safety. So there's our answer for the
Is
gate.
that the end of Straight Wharf?
That is the end of the fuel dock.
Oh, there's one there as well.
Yes.
Okay,
So I guess public safety condition is in their chapter 91
hmm,
permit. Does that sound correct, Dave?
Yeah, I think it is. Did everybody get the, my reference to chapter 91 in the Old Harbor Plan?
yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so there's,
Thank you
there's,
for that.
yeah, and I think you're right, Jim, about the end of that,
So Dave, would you know, did they simply just begin to practice that recently because of the scofflaws jumping on board some of these yachts, last summer? I know the gates have been there for a while, but they haven't actually enforced keeping people from walking down to those ends where the really large yachts, tie up during the summer.
yeah, the gates has been there for quite a while, but it's always been kind of a not an issue. And then when people do silly stuff, then, they are forced to uh, have their security people enforce it, more. But, um, it's really never been it's got to tell you, it never really ever had a problem down there.
All right. All right, Dave, Mr. Brace, to clarify, did you send out the letter?
To Stephen Crease? Yep,
Yes.
I copied you on it, on
Yes.
the email.
Okay, just want it on record, and to clarify for the
I told him
board.
to reach out to you. If he
Yeah.
couldn't get a hold of you, then he could get a hold of me.
Okay,
And I sent the letter and attached the chapter 91 license.
Yeah.
Noted in
Mr. Chairman.
highlighted areas.
Dave,
Yeah, I talked to Sheila. She said that she talked to Eric Finger, and Eric Finger says that it's not him that's not willing to do the fuel. It's Harbor Fuel and Sun Island that are not willing to do it because of insurance purposes. So I think that we're at a good point where, it's time to get everybody in the room and have this discussion. And the requirement for a fueling station, can take many forms. The truck idea, filled the gap for a while, but that doesn't it doesn't relieve Great Harbor Yacht Club from having to provide a fueling station. So, and a fueling station, when you think about it, a fueling station could be, well, in my mind, it should be a couple tanks, one for diesel, one for gasoline, and a pump, and somebody that's trained to dispense that or sell that. But just because the fuel companies are not willing to deliver by truck doesn't relieve them of their responsibility.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Brace,
I guess I just want to ask Jim, how many people do you think? Let's say we get it all set up and Dennis will do it or whoever will do it. How many guys do you think will regularly use that?
I would say most of the charter boat fleet would use it at least twice a week,
Yeah,
maybe more in the summer. Like if it's available at a time that makes sense for them, like, usually they start their charters at 7. So if you get fuel at 6, most of those guys, unless they're on a tuna trip, would probably be up for doing that.
yeah,
I mean, generally I start earlier, but like say it's a day I'm not going, I would certainly go down there and get fuel for my boat instead of driving 2 hours to the Cape, spend an hour in the Cape and then 2 hours back.
what about night before versus early
Or
morning?
that, I mean, if they could do it at night, that's fine too. If they had like range hours from 5 to 7, and then they had 4 to 6 or whatever might be available. I mean, they'll fill you whatever time you want over in the cave. There's no like, I mean, they might be upset if you call them at midnight, but they will do it.
There's no,
I don't think that, I don't, Mr. Chairman, I don't think that the hours I think that our fleet would adapt quite quickly to whatever hours that they came up with. And if it was 3 times a week, between 6 and 7 in the morning or 6 or 7 at night, I think those guys will adapt because I think that the cost will make them want to adapt. So I don't think we can get wrapped around the axle about oh well we're not going to do it if it's 2:30 and after. No, I think they'll adapt, but I think there's more of a need than you believe.
Yeah. I think it'd be used more than you'd expect possibly.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, better way to put it.
I'm not worried about, the people owning the boats that would access that. I'm sure they'll adapt rather than having to go to the Cape. But we should know as close as we can, how many people will avail themselves of that time, so that when we have to talk to whoever we have to talk to, the fuel company, the Great Harbor Yacht Club, we could say, we have a number, so they're prepared, because they are the ones that we're probably gonna get, complaints about, or not complaints, but, pushback.
Yeah. One thing I was gonna mention is, we're talking about insurance for the trucks don't want to have the insurance Harbor Fuel on Sun Island, but like, example, if Chapter 91 requires Great Harbor Yacht Club to supply fuel, but they don't, could they and then pay the insurance for the trucks to be able to do it? Or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, from the insurance aspect, I think it's more of an underwriting issue, or their rates might go up. So it isn't like,
Right.
I guarantee they have the coverage. It's a matter of what pushback they have from an underwriter who's issuing their policies to start with. But I believe they would all have the coverage, or they'd be out of business.
I mean, it's a separate separate permit to transfer over the water,
Yeah.
but
Right.
and that may change their insurance. But
I don't I don't know why I was giving this a lot more thought today, but if the health department went in there and said, you're not in compliance with running your restaurant, I think there would be every attempt made by Great Harbor Yacht Club management to get that rectified so they could feed their members. This is a permit, and I believe that, and I may be wrong about this, but I also was thinking back that it's my understanding that if you're in violation of a town permit, any town permit, then you're not eligible to move forward with any of your activities. So I'm going to do a little bit more digging into that, but if the building didn't have an occupancy permit and they couldn't have functions there, they would make every attempt to get that cleaned up for their members who are paying hundreds of $1,000 membership.
Well, that's a good analogy, except for the fishermen aren't paying a membership. But
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Brace,
sorry to cut you off, and Dave, Nantucket is, the town of Nantucket is, it's passive enforcement. So they don't have enough staff except for the police, really, to go out and monitor everything that they're supposed to be enforcing. Someone has to complain and file a formal complaint for an enforcement action to happen. So people not complying with their permits can go along for a very long time, not complying until somebody like maybe this board complains. So,
well, that's a great point, Peter, and I got to tell you that my recommendation moving forward would be is if we do not get any resolution out of these efforts that we've made, then we send a letter to the Board of Selectmen as an advisory board saying, we've attempted to do this. Remedies have been found in the past. We've attempted to find remedies for the upcoming season, and we were unsuccessful. And we would like to call their permit and any and all other permits that they're required to do business into question.
We held a
And-
liquor permit.
And force someone, at least to be sitting around that table at four fairgrounds and say, what do you mean they're not selling fuel? Well, it's just like, what do you mean their freezers in their restaurant haven't been working for 6 weeks? I find it just as egregious. And to your point, Mr. Chairman, yeah, they don't pay they don't pay our fishermen, and our folks don't pay to be a member there, but that's what Chapter 91 is all about. It's about the public trust and about public doctrine and good from the public, because you're letting them do something on public filled tidelands.
No, don't get me wrong, Dave. My short remark there just drew out an even better solution to move forward with from you. So, to call them out through the select board, is a great idea. And if that's what we have to do, we'll keep our finger on the pulse of this and we'll do that.
That's what I think we ought to do.
Can't appreciate your, anymore. Your amount of input on this is tremendous. So thank you, Dave. Scott?
No
Dave,
problem.
did you ever craft that letter that you were gonna send the Great Harbor Yacht Club yet?
Well, that's what we just talked about. Yes.
No, I thought that was a different letter. Okay,
No.
that was okay,
That's the letter.
okay,
Yeah.
so I think we then have to wait for a response for that
Right.
before we kick it up to the next.
And meantime, not to take your, concentration off the meeting, Jim, but if you can think of, just to be able to answer Peter's question, quick mental note of, how many charter fishermen there are, and then there's you and Dan Pronk as far as, crew, going out there commercially, what's there, maybe 3 at the town pier and 8 of them in the marina. I'm not sure, but, it's probably safe to say there's 15 boats that would probably take advantage of this. And I was talking to Jim about this earlier today and because we were talking a bit about the personal transfer and having a tank in the back of your truck. And, Jim, better coming from you. You were speaking with somebody on the vineyard who, claimed they do it all the time.
Yeah.
So there's guys on the vineyard not having a problem with just pulling up to their boat with their truck and fueling their boat from their own pickup truck. And I asked Jim, is 100 gallons at a time make it worth it? And Jim's like, absolutely. Your trip offshore to haul your gear and to come back, you're burning roughly
80 gallons.
Yeah, so close to 100,
Yeah.
and so that 100 gets you out there and back.
It's just the option to have it available if the boat base is closed too. Like, if
Yeah.
they're not available, then you're kind of stuck.
And I like to keep leaning that way for commercial guys only, and we could implement our own regulation that any person that wants to do that, and if the town is willing to allow it, if it's even disallowed, I'd be interested in knowing that, but we could suggest that they be required to have their own spill kit. And maybe Jim, you could look into what a spill kit may
Sure.
cost. Maybe Dave already knows.
Well, as far as a spill kit is concerned, The harbor master has access to DEP uh, oil spill response equipment, and a bundle of pads and even a short piece of absorbent boom is not going to break the bank, and the town could certainly provide that in a 5 gallon bucket or something like with a lid on it. As a matter of fact, they make them. They're yellow. They have the placards on the side, and they have the boom coiled up inside there, the absorbent boom, and then the pads. But yeah, it won't break the bank. It won't break the bank. And if you're saving a couple of bucks per gallon, uh, and I also want to caution everybody something that Bob said a couple of weeks ago that it's been kind of nagging at me, but I certainly understand the circumstances. Is that there may be other circumstances that prohibit those guys in the boat basin from um, not buying their fuel from the boat basin. Like Bob said, it's kind of part of the deal. Is he buys his fuel there as part of the slip arrangement. It's probably unwritten. It's probably maybe he gets a break on it. I don't know, but So my point is if you add them all up and you get to 20, you may not be able to get all those 20 due to other circumstances.
Gotcha. Out of loyalty and whatnot.
Well, loyalty or I've had a slip there for Bob's dad had a slip there for God's sake. I am getting old, but uh, you know, Ray DaCosta he was a hoot. But anyway, Gibby Nickerson and guys like that. But I, to be perfectly honest, I'm glad I knew all those guys, and I wish they certainly imparted a lot of knowledge in their time sitting around that table that you're sitting at right now.
Thank you, Dave.
So you can get a 55-gallon drum spill kit for $435.
And that's a big one. That's a big spill kit.
I think that's what we were required to carry on the fishing boat in Alaska when we transited Washington State Watersway to carry a special spill kit.
Oh, okay.
But that's for 150-foot boat. I mean,
Yeah.
all we had to have, and the dish what we had on board. But
Right.
so that'd be plenty, I feel like.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Brace.
So this is for Dave and for Jim. When the truck is there, or when they're at the boat basin, you're up either or, and the person doing the filling takes the pump handle off and puts it down to the boat. Is there any fuel that's at the end of that comes out, and then when you're done fueling and you take it out, does fuel drip from that and go into the water? Is that or it's just a minimal amount? Or
Their nozzle should be full shut off, so nothing comes out after that. I mean, they usually hand it to you with the absorbent pad, as they still do at the boat basin. It's the same thing.
so
It's like you ever see gasoline pour out of the thing when you pull it out of
Yeah.
the thing. Yeah, it's the same. It's like pretty much impossible to have zero, but like usually you try to pass it so the nozzle's up with the absorbent pad on it.
So I'm
Don't in the water.
just asking questions like this and numbers of fishermen and stuff like that, because we may have to answer the people who aren't the club, but don't like the idea of this. We should have all the facts, so that when we have to say, we're doing this for the fishermen, we're doing, all the reasons why, we should have all the answers. That's all.
I mean, I feel like we shouldn't be special in Nantucket not being able to do this, where the rest of the state does this.
Right, I agree.
This is not like we're not different.
Right.
No.
Less pretend.
We actually have less access to it than anybody else does.
Mhm.
Right.
All right, do we continue discussion in our next meeting on this?
Sure.
Yes,
I would think so.
We have more to throw around on this.
I think we need to get some more answers.
Yeah.
Talk to some more people, so
Okay,
We might hear back from Stephen by then, you know?
okay,
we can leave it on
all
there.
right,
I mean, I'm betting that he is, I know him personally, but I'm betting that he is, traveling. He's from Britain, so he may be there with his wife. So,
okay. Any more discussion on, chapter 91 licensing? And we've also covered the safe transfer of diesel and volume by truck, which is still a separate, item, but they do go together as well. We'll move ahead to, the recap of the select board approval. Oh, sorry.
Okay, comment from the public, on Logan. I don't want to belabor this, we've talked about it a lot, you guys have talked about this a lot, but, one of the things about the insurance was, doesn't the carrier already have, coverage for wherever they deliver anyway? If it's over water, they might have to have another, policy arrangement with that. I get that, that's fine, but it's still incumbent upon the carrier. But we're talking about a state regulation, not a town. And if chapter 91 is a state regulation mandate, then it's incumbent upon the select board to push this. Not just you guys, it's the select board that should be bringing this up to the state level, saying that these guys are not compliant. And you can make all the recommendations you want, but it's a state mandate, it's not local. And push these guys till they are compliant.
Well, it's certainly, or most likely, I should say, not on the select board's radar. So, that will be our next step, after gathering some more information here. I think in the next 2 weeks, before our next meeting, I'll reach out to, both Sun Island and Harbor Fuel. Since, the can has been kicked back to them from, Mr. Finger. So, we'll see what we come up with in 2 weeks, as far as an explanation from the fuel providers.
Very well, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Mr.
Yes,
Chairman,
Dave?
You know, if this was a public access issue, which we've addressed this as an additional issue as public access and the boat hauling as an additional two things that need to be looked into. But if this was a public access issue, purely, the public and the selectmen would be screaming about this.
Yeah.
Screaming about this. So I think I think we're headed in the right direction, and I just think that whatever we find out in the next couple of weeks, and then we move it to them.
Thank you, Dave. Peter?
but Dave, in a way, it is a public access issue.
Yeah.
It's public access to fuel.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. You're right. Oh, I totally agree with you. But I'm just saying, outside the realm of the boating world, if this was I hearken back to when they put the gate up on First Way on Allen's Way. I think back to something like that, and the community, they were going to, burn those people at the stake, for God's sake, but I mean, if it was an issue like that, or Cathcart Road, or some of these other major use public accessing, they'd be banging their door down.
yeah, you're right, Dave. Thank you. All right. Anything else on those two items? Okay, recap of the select board approval of increasing the scallop bushel limit for commercial scallopers to 6 bushels. the presentation at the select board, went very well. They took it very well, and, it easily passed unanimously. And, as you all may know or may not know, they went as far as to give, Tara, they go ahead to make it 7 if she finds that, suitable. So, this freeze up has really kept everybody from going out for quite some time. I was, actually had a spine tingling moment this morning, seeing one guy bust through the ice and actually come in with 5 boxes today, and then to find out one other guy went out and, wasn't sure whether it was 6 or 5, so he only took 5. So 2 guys got out today and harvested 10 boxes between them. Hopefully tomorrow, it seems like the ice is, cleared up a bit, so, hopefully some more guys are able to get out tomorrow, but, I'd just like to say, I believe this, was a necessary, move, and I'm glad it went smoothly. And to, to back up on what we discussed at the last meeting, Dave, you, worded it very well as to say we need to discuss, over the summer, and I really think we should start beginning this discussion, before summer about, front loading the season, I think is the way you put it, versus back loading the season, with the demand for scallops being, more so for the first 2 months versus the remainder of the season, and the dynamic of the industry changing so much to what old schoolers are used to, with there being, a lot of guys going out just for the first 2 months for the so-called gravy of the, fishery, and, ending their season early. We're not seeing that happen. It's a very small fleet, so I think this is an important discussion to have, to bring, try to bring the fishery up, to date with what's happening today, not with what was happening 20-25 years ago. So,
Can I add something to that?
You know,
Please.
I'll just,
just a second, Dave. Peter?
sure. go ahead.
If that's what we're talking about, thinking about being proactive to maybe, so we can be ready to bump up the bushel limit for the opening of the season, that's what you're talking about.
It actually, Matt Fee actually suggested it as
Yep.
well at
So
the
if that's what we're talking about, you have to remember that we have more of a case if we have the data. And so
Yeah.
Tara and her crew does her spring, early summer dive surveys, but then they also do them in the fall.
Mhm.
So we should be working with her to find out when she's gonna have all her data, because what's in the spring and the summer may not pretend to what's gonna be in the fall, so we should be ahead of that. Let her know that that's coming.
Yes, and I have full respect for that. Thank you for adding that. Because, at the moment that did slip my mind. So thank you, Peter. Dave?
Yeah, I talked to her today about a couple issues, and um, and this subject came up, and you know, I think I don't know what I said a couple weeks ago, but you know, the dynamic has changed. You don't have 120 boats on opening day. You don't have 400 commercial licenses. Um, you know, I really wish it hadn't gotten so cold that we couldn't fish, because I was really willing to call the bluff of these buyers. But you know, I just think we just need to rethink it. You know, we need to rethink it, and we've got the flexibility now of changing these bushel limits without not too much difficulty. So I think we just need to be, be proactive. And she said to me, she's a smart woman, and she did this to me the very first week I knew her, many years ago. Many years ago, I said to her, and I don't mean to get on my soapbox here, but I think you guys need to appreciate her, her and her knowledge and her candidness. And I don't know how many years ago, 15 years ago,
2009.
you know,
2008.
I'm sorry,
2009.
2009. Well, okay, so longer than I remembered. But you know what? The very first week when I had her in the car and I took her back to the airport, and I said to her, "How many bay scallops can you grow for me in the first year?" And she looked at me and she said, "Mr. Franzuto, I have no idea, but I'll do my best." And you know what? When I talked to her today, she didn't I had just turned down three other PhD candidates for that job. And they were promising this and promising that. And this woman, she's in the business of growing shellfish. And she has been for a long time. And her candor and her knowledge is tremendous. But she said almost the same thing to me today. She said, if I have the data to support rearranging the way we think about this fishery in the first couple of months, she said, we'll do it. And I said, I don't, you can't, you can't put a value on that, guys. You really can't,
And to add to
I
that,
had,
one comment she said as well was she loves her job. And when you love your job, you usually do the best that you can because you love your job.
she's damn good at it.
Yeah. Thanks,
And
Dave.
I think she's also not afraid to say to us, hey, listen up. That's not the way
Yeah.
that's not where we're headed. Tracy Curley, God rest her soul. Tracy Curley used to do that to me all the time. She'd close that door and I knew I was in for an ass chewing. But there's another woman who loved her job and did a great job at it. And I don't think we could have found anybody better than Tara.
Well put, Dave. Thank you. Okay. So that's absolutely correct. You're right. We'll begin this discussion and put this on the agenda, after conversing with Tara about it and time it appropriately. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Scott.
So does Tara have the okay just to say we're gonna go to 7 bushels?
She does.
Or she doesn't have to come here, anything's perfect?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
But she will come.
Yeah, I know she will.
Yeah, she'll come to us.
Chairman,
Mr. Logan.
if we come to public comment yet?
Well, no, but we're gonna move on to the next, so go ahead.
Uh, Thank all you guys for considering us as fishermen, what we're doing here. And I just wanted to comment, if Tara in her great success keeps putting product down for us as seed to catch for the next year, then we should be considering the diminishing fleet to go capture all of them as we possibly can to sustain the fishery. The reorganizing of the fishery back in the day to bring it down to 5 bushels a day was to protect the eelgrass. Back when it was, again, to remind everybody, was 100 boats out there 100 days a year. That doesn't happen anymore. So we don't have the threat of destroying the habitat like we did in the past. And that might be a consideration for the board to undertake.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Brace.
so I did the minutes yesterday. And one of the things you said at the last meeting is why are the fishermen being hamstrung? And you said basically what you just said now, why can't we just go get all of them? Can you clarify how you're being hamstrung? And B, do you mean going and get all of them by us going up to the state limit of 10? Because it's pretty vague when you say go get all of them. You need to say, well, how are you gonna do that? So can you explain that a little bit more?
So the first question, how I'm being hamstrung is being limited to my daily catch. When the state allows 10 and the town only allows 5. And why would we not be allowed to catch all of them when that's what we're supposed to do?
Well, you got it, that's what I'm saying. What do you mean by catching all of them?
Every adult that's available for us for this.
I understand that, but
Up to the limit of 10.
so what you need to be saying is if you're saying we need to be able to go catch all of them, you need to say we need to go up to 10 boxes. And the state sets the law and then the towns can decide how far up to 10 they want to go or up to 10. So it's at the town's discretion. So do you mean you want us to recommend to the select board or to Tara or whatever that the limit should go up to 10? That's what you mean by saying catch all of them. Is that what you mean? Because there's,
Yes,
yes,
yes.
okay, because you're probably not gonna catch all of them because there's only the number of boats that are going, so. What you maybe mean is you want to catch as many as you possibly can. At the limit of the law, which is the limit of 10 boxes per license.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to clarify that, appreciate that.
Yep, you're welcome.
Thank you for that, Peter. That does make sense of those comments. And thank you, John, for answering that. Mr. Sherlin?
I'm just thinking about the other towns in the states. Like the Vineyard, for example, I'm pretty sure they're allowed 3 bushels.
Pretty sure they what?
Allowed 3 bushels per boat or per fisherman. I'm not sure what Chatham allows as far as like Pleasant Bay and stuff. This town of Orleans, I think Wellfleet, the guys who fish on the big boats out of there, they are allowed the state limit. So it varies through towns and where people are fishing. And I think we could certainly be more flexible about it in Nantucket at this point in the fishery. It's hard to, I think we discussed Tara's estimate or surveys. I think it's really hard to go off of that necessarily at the start of the season to get a good number, to have an idea. Like you said, it's only a meter square at a time, and I think there's 30 locations, I think. Tara's here to answer
It's
this.
41,
41.
42,
All right.
yeah.
But anyway, that's just my comment on that. That's it.
And every harbor is different, I guess, I mean, we know there's nothing to sustain anybody in Mattocket with the Mattocket fishermen in town this year. Be interesting to know what surveys show, why would vineyard towns be at 3 bushel? But anyhow, it's certainly good to know, but also to base our limit on what another town is doing wouldn't have much basis either.
Of
So,
course not.
Mr. Logan,
One
quickly.
light comment, Mr. Chairman, thank you. No other town has a trademark product like we do.
Right,
The Vineyard has 5 towns that operate separately. Some are 3, some are 2 boxes per day. Chatham is whatever they are, the Cape Cod Bay Gulls. Nantucket is the only trademarked product on the market. We have a seasonal premier product that we should try to avail to the market when we can.
To that point, sorry, Andy,
Peter,
let me just keep going, but.
yeah,
It used to be, and that's in large part due to the Shellfish Association, but it used to be that when scallops left the island. They left the island with a sticker that said that they were Nantucket Bay scallops. And when they were sitting in a little pile of ice in a fish store on the mainland, there was a little thing that said they were Nantucket Bays. And that was a big thing when the Shellfish Association got going, and Emma, Mary Adair, was a real push behind that, and that just sort of went away. So
It's coming back.
good.
Yes. I believe Kevin Bourne brought some stickers to a couple of shanties, so and he's with us keeping his finger on the pulse of this to work his magic, so to speak, on reviving marketing in some way, shape, or form. So the NSA is very interested in being involved and staying, on top of this game. So we should continue to be appreciative for that, and I think we're going to see more involvement and more action being taken through the NSA to help the industry. So anything else on the bushel limit? And okay. New business. After this bushel limit was approved, there were 4 people reached out about Monday and Tuesday being opened up for recreational scholars, and I felt a little kind of like, darn, we didn't even think of recreational in our consideration here on the bushel limit. And honestly, I'm thinking, well, who's out there this time of year recreational scalloping? But allegedly at least 4 people came forward and said, what about us? So and one gentleman actually said, between his job and other obligations, Monday is the only day he has available in his schedule to go, and he was hoping to get back out in March. So we've got this on the agenda tonight. Should we, be recommending that Monday and Tuesday be open? I don't think, nobody mentioned being able to take more than the 1 bushel a week. Honestly, for recreational purposes, 1 bushel, if that equates to 7 pounds, that's basically, 14 to 20 plates of scallops. I think that's pretty good for 1 week. We've got enough to give away to some friends and to have scallops every night for dinner if you wish. So thoughts from the board on, Dave, maybe you can tell us
Yeah.
why Monday
Yeah,
and Tuesday are closed.
Yeah, Tara and I talked about this. Years ago, when you had seasonal wardens and you had a couple full-time wardens, um, you, you it was an opportunity to give the bottom an opportunity to rest. The commercial guys will tell you, fishing's always better on Monday because the bottom's had a chance to recover a little bit and things have settled down. The other thing, it was manpower. I mean, you're asking one warden to work 7 days a week, and you don't have the flexibility now of having other. If you also have to remember that in the Marine Department before, everybody, with the exception of the biologist, was a shellfish warden, and everybody was an assistant harbor master, so they could do double duty. You don't have that anymore. When Tara and I talked about this particular subject today, my recommendation would be just leave it Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and Saturday and Sunday. I mean, that's that, I just don't believe those 2 days are going to make a difference in anybody's livelihood. And hell, I'd eat scallops 7 days a week myself, but that's not the point. The point is that 5 days a week, yeah, they have 5 days a week to get a bushel. I don't see any reason to mess around with that.
Well, I was thinking more of like a split season. Monday and Tuesday can remain closed for October, November, December, open it up to 7 days, January, February, March, whereas I took into consideration the same thing, having one shellfish warden, but during the commercial season, he's working Monday and Tuesday anyway. So, uh, and I would like to think, January, February, March, still, how many guys are out there? Recreational fishing, but anyhow, just my
Yeah, well,
thoughts on that.
let's give it some let's give it some thought, and we can talk about it. But we can, if you want to change it,
Yeah.
make a change to the regulation of again, making the fishery more fluid so it's more adaptable to the number of people that you got going and the weather conditions and stuff like that. So maybe we consider putting in a change that on the 1st of January they can go Mondays and Tuesdays.
Okay, Jim.
I'm gonna go off of what you said as far as, I mean, there's other shell fisheries open at the same time that the constables overseeing or wardening or whatever you want to call it. And yes, Monday, Tuesday would be like his days off during the recreational, but this time of year, Monday, Tuesday open for commercial, so he's still on call or
Yeah.
on duty. And
Yeah.
I don't see a reason why they couldn't go Monday, Tuesday if they want to go recreationally. I don't think it's a necessarily an enforcement issue or anything. I mean, how many people are going to go for one? I mean, shell fishing for steamers is open on Sunday, and Saturday's open for cohogging if you want to go cohogging. So technically, every single day there's somebody he could be checking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, maybe I kind of agree with Jim. And if maybe you could, what is it, Wisconsin Gazette, right? So maybe you can put a thing out there that says we're looking to find out how many people are going in the wintertime to get a sense of it.
Mhm.
And then let's say it was 6 people total. Maybe there's a way that I don't know, this is kind of crazy, but maybe you could have those people text the warden and say, hey, I'm going today.
Yeah.
So that you knew to be looking for him.
Mhm.
Instead of him just having go all over the place and look. I mean, he may have to go all over the place anyway, because once it warms up, people are gonna be digging steamers, right? And going for cohogs and whatever, but
Yeah, this was a limited, I believe it was on Nantucket Year-Round Community. And I actually already threw that question out there, but it was on the post made by the individual that was questioning. So not exactly a huge exposure to the public. But it would be, the same as we'd like to poll fishermen about the bushel limit. It would be nice to poll recreational fishermen how they feel about that as well. But at this point in time, and just thinking about it in general, I agree with Mr. Franzuto, and that works, mainly for October, where commercial season hasn't begun yet. But once commercial season's in place, that warden's, he's on the job for Monday and Tuesday. But anyhow, any more discussion on this one? We'll continue this discussion at our next meeting with more information and with some input from Tara as well.
Does it have to go to the select board to get changed also?
I would imagine so. It's a regulation change, I believe. It's in
Yeah,
the
we'd have
reg-
to.
Yeah.
We'd have to change the regulation.
Yeah. Okay. There's no more discussion on this.
Hell,
No wait, yeah,
I needed a blood transfusion after the argument to try to get Christmas Day. So, you know, yeah, you got to go back to the selectmen, unfortunately.
yes. Uh, thanks, Dave.
Sorry.
That's all right. Uh, no wake zone solutions. Requesting the harbor master to move buoys further out into the main channel. This having to do with, even though it hasn't been studied, I think it's noticeable. The changes to the shoreline, especially on Co 2 between the horse shed and Co 2 Point. There's a whole nother point has, and a little cove has created itself over the past 15, 20 years, maybe 25 years at the most. And it's very possible that this is a result of all the high-speed ferry traffic, and I would just, to begin with, anybody listening to this, take a look out the window when you're on the high-speed ferry, and when it's coming into the harbor and they throttle down, the inertia of their wake continues quite rapidly and powerful. And when they throttle up, when they leave the harbor, honestly, you see that same draw of water around the boat, and when the wake begins to form, and without any scientific study of this, which could take years, uh, we've sent letters out. I don't know how many years now, Mr. Brace,
About 3 or 4.
to all of the high-speed ferry operators, and it almost, we've asked them to slow down starting at the cut in the jetty. And honestly, I don't take it very often, but when I do, throttling down doesn't take place till we're across from Co 2 Point. So, and the new point I call Point 1A, we need to name it. It's become so large, and there's such a large mass of sand there. And in talking with a scalloper this morning about going over to the horse shed, from what it sounds like, there's just simply nothing there. And whether it has sanded over, I'm not sure, just become too shallow to fish in there. It used to be a very popular spot for scalloping. So I don't see where there would be any hindrance to the boat to slow down 100 to 200 yards earlier than where they are. And I'd like to think also that the harbor master would be in agreement that the no wake buoys could move further north. Comments from the board?
Mr. Chairman.
Dave, please.
Yeah. You know, I'd be willing to bet that we can get support from the land council and the eelgrass folks and our own biologists to support the silting in of that area. And I mean, I know years that's we fished there a lot, and also I wouldn't. I don't believe that you have to move this thing all the way to the end of the jetty. You could move it to buoy 5 and get in that deep water, and that would solve the problem. And that's only going to add about a minute and a half to their trip. Number 2 and number 3, yes, it's a wharves and waterways bylaw, chapter 137, section 14 is speed, and you would have to go to town meeting to move it. But I think with the proper support, uh, you could get the votes to move this out to buoy number 5 without too much grief.
Really, Dave, to clarify, to move the no wake zone buoy would require a town meeting vote.
Yeah, it's a bylaw, not a regulation. A bylaw has to be changed at town meeting. I looked it up today, and the point that sticks out on a bearing of 270 degrees sets the no wake limit. And then it gives some explanation in Tematic where that is in past Jackson's Point. But the one in town, it specifically states with the bearing of 270 degrees off of that point. But unfortunately, it's a bylaw, and it would have to go to town meeting. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't get our ducks in a row for a town meeting with a little bit of help from the scientists and uh, a little safety issue here of less wake in the harbor and congestion and how many high speed ferries there are every day. And I think all those arguments could be made pretty simply and move it out to buoy number 5.
Great, Dave. I can't say as I like hearing that information, but you're not the one that came up with that, I'm sure, and even if you did, that was a long time ago, so I appreciate you doing your homework on our agenda prior to this meeting to be able to answer
Well,
this
I was
question.
hoping I was hoping it had been shifted into section 2, chapter 230 for harbor regulations, but it hasn't. So it's in the current bylaw book, code of Nantucket. So yeah, we're kind of hamstrung there, but that doesn't mean that should slow us down. It just means that we get our ducks in a row and
Yeah.
go to town meeting.
Yeah, well, which is more than a year from now, but we'll continue this discussion at our next meeting. When Tara is uh present to get her input on this as well. She did say when we started this at the end of the last meeting that she sees outside of her laboratory this taking place all the time, and sounds like she kind of cringes when she sees it. So, Jim?
Mr. Chair, I just, I think when I brought this subject up, I was looking more for data as far as wave or surge action for the area, because I mean, I very much see how the horse shed could be affected as, the ferry goes out, there's a breaking wave, especially at dead low tide. And the slow ferries do it too, even though the tide's real low, the wave breaks right up onto the shoal there. I don't feel like it happens anywhere near as much on the Hubbard Avenue side because it's deeper water. But I kind of want to see some data from some kind of sensors or something that could possibly put there to see if just the surge is what's doing it, maybe. I've been curious because like those two places have been like void of skulls for basically, I don't know, for any amount for 15 years anyway. And
Well,
it'd
now
be interesting to know if that's really the reason why.
Yeah.
Or if there's something else.
Now that we know it has to go before town meeting, there's actually time to possibly study that this summer, and maybe we can get the land council involved, interns with the NRD, even NSA possibly can get involved in this type of research as well, or helping to fund the research. Can't imagine it would be that costly, but certainly good research to be had. And speaking, I didn't mention the Hulbert Avenue side of things. One fisherman who made it out today started fishing in that area, and once he saw another boat head up harbor, he couldn't get out of that area fast enough because he wasn't yielding very much there. So on up to one of the bends he went and did well. So anything else on the no wake zone solutions? We'll keep this on here so that we have some more input from staff. Anything from the public? on tonight's meeting? Kona, Kevin, Dave, got a hand up, Mr. Corn?
Yes, hi everyone. Excuse the background noise. I'm just taking my dog for a walk. I am across the sound in Chatham right now. Actually, I was just down at the town landing there and was just literally watching the river break up significantly from what it's been the past 3 or 4 days. So I don't know if that's a sign of good things to come or if it'll be refreezing, but it's the river itself has pretty much open now. So just thought I'd share that, and I'm happy to send a picture because I think it looks pretty cool. But just wanted to take this just a minute, just to first say thank you guys, everyone on the Harbor and Shellfish Advisory Board. I am totally new to attending these meetings. This is my second meeting in full disclosure, which I'm not proud to say. I wish it was my significantly more. But it is my second, and I'm just really amazed at what you guys are all talking about as a board, and just the fact that you are going to the select board and advising them on what is best for Nantucket shellfish fisheries. I just really think that you guys should be proud of everything you've done over the years that, quite honestly, I don't know much about, and now just recently what I'm realizing all that you do. So thank you, not just from my sake, but speaking on behalf of NSA, the board, and all of our membership. So to add to that, I just want to just offer NSA's help. We kind of found our footing this year a bit, or the last year. We now have our 4, quote, Nantucket shellfish celebration events, because that's really what they are, is to celebrate Nantucket shellfish. So now that we have these and they're flowing, I'd really love to be more tapped in on how we can, the messaging that we send out to the public, just so everyone does, the word trademark was used tonight about the bay scallops, and that's a big topic overall, is like, how do we legally have it trademarked? How do we logistically make sure that, for lack of a better example, make sure that it's packaged like champagne is packaged from the Champagne region of France. Nantucket bay scallops are only from the Nantucket Harbor. So how do we logistically do that? We are definitely going to start that exercise and build off of, the amazing work that Mary Adair did do, and that I think just kind of sat. So, excuse me. But if there are ways that NSA can help, whether that is through funding, the spill packages, whether it's through, you mentioned polls for recreational, seeing what's on people's mind. That's something that NSA can do, and we'd love to be more a part of that in the future and help, just help overall with in a complementary way to what you guys are doing, what Natural Resources is doing, and the amazing work that the hatchery is doing. So just wanted to share that, a quick way of saying thanks. And we meaning NSA would love to be more present in 2026 with complementing your guys' work.
That's awesome, Kevin. Thank you very much. And thanks for the reminder. Like you said, tapping into the NSA for not just monetary resources, but legwork, paperwork, reaching out, public outreach. Thank you for that. Like polling the recreational scholars, that would be very helpful. And keep in mind also the other way around, you think of something pertaining to the fishery, pertaining to our harbors, pertaining to the environment. That's what we're here for. And, at the end of every meeting is the time to bring up something you'd like to have here discussed at our next meeting. right up to 3 days before our next meeting is usually when we create our agenda. So I can reach out anytime, request something to be on the agenda. If it's not on the agenda, we really can't discuss it. And we definitely would not be able to take a vote either. So it's best that any topic is on the agenda so the public knows what we're talking about. And so that if there's action that we can take, we can also take that action. So thank you, Kevin.
Of course. Thank you all.
Speaking of that, anything new that you can think of tonight, board members, for our meeting in 2 weeks? Aside from what we already have on here, it seems our agenda is going to remain the same as it is now. Our next meeting is February 17th and then March 3rd. If there's nothing else to recap or discuss, I'll accept a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion's made by Mr. Anderson, seconded by Mr. Sherwin to adjourn tonight's meeting. All in favor of adjourning, Mr. Anderson?
Aye.
Mr. Sherwin?
Aye.
Ms. Mayo?
Aye.
Mr. Brace?
Aye.
Mr. Franzuto?
Bye.
Chair votes aye as well. This meeting is adjourned 6:14 PM. Thank you, everyone.
Take care.
That was
You
part
as
of,
well, Dave.
part of the hard,